Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always excited to introduce to you the Protoss player in the blue. The #1 in the world, the smiling assassin. It's herO. And, well, I think you already know who this is. But, and he needs no introduction, but I gotta justify my presence here. So, of course, I'm happy to introduce to you the finisher. No, the final boss. It's Dark. Best of 5 PvZ, starting off appropriately. Here with Dark taking a casual hatch block. Now, for those of you counting at home, herO has won the last, I believe, 3 out of 4 contests in this Korean StarCraft 2 League Finals. The weekly Dark versus herO show. They got to go through a bunch of other players, but somehow they always end up rising to the top. But speaking of counting, I hope I can count on you to like and subscribe. Jimmy, count the... How many... What are we at? 1,182 likes on this cast, on this series, on this weekly experience of the most creative and sometimes confusing StarCraft 2 strategies. And, I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And I think you already know it's about to get a little bit better. So Dark with a casual. He says, if you're not going to block my base, I'll block yours. Which... Dark definitely one of the people who subscribes to the idea of... It's not that... it's not enough that I should succeed. Others should fail. And so far, his career is kind of defined by that. Well, handful of Zerglings. The Queen's a bit on the later side, as building a hatchery on the other side of the map will delay some parts of the build. But overall, nothing too much to worry about. The Adepts, well, how many drones? 0. Not very many. Adept still sharking around, looking for an opportunity to get the damage done. I doubt it's going to find it, at least in any sort of really meaningful way. Stargate on the way behind it. So, despite... Wait. Okay, the drone's still in the main. The probe is chasing it. They are the same speed. A beautiful patrol. The patrol meaning only workers can patrol without attack. I guess other units like overlords can patrol without attacking. You know what? There's actually a lot of units that can patrol without attacking. But keeping... I don't think this is the most efficient scout, but it's definitely the most mentally damaging. That drone, with the minerals in tow here, will finally be taken out by the Adept. But it got a full scout of, well, exactly what you would expect to see from a relatively normal Protoss versus Zerg. Oh my. Well, the Zerglings wrap around one of the Adepts. They didn't actually catch the other one, but here comes the Oracle already pulling back as Dark. The Oracle burns through a couple of the Zerglings, was forced to light up that fancy pulsar beam in order to get him. He's gonna try to chase down the Adept. One Zergling, let me at him! Well, it had just enough damage to finish off the last one. Oh my god. 2 HP on the Adept. Takes out the Ling. There are more coming across. I feel like these are Spitelings here. You've heard of Zerglings, but Spitelings are Dark's favorite flavor. Just enough Zerglings to kill that Adept. Revenge for Lenny! And, well, another Adept is warped in. Yep, get out of there. Things will escalate. Slightly, slowly. But still, escalate indeed. It looks like we will even out into something relatively standard. And that happens so much with these two. They kind of... Wait. No, I take it back. herO took it back as well. herO did start Blink. And then he's like, nah. Heck it. I'm gonna go Glaives and +1. Which, okay. Oh, the Oracle. Get off my creep! Sorry, I blacked out for a second. Where was I? Oh, the Oracle went down to the Queens. And Adept Glaives are the choice here. herO. I'm not sure what he saw. Well, there's a Roach Warren and Evo Chamber on the way, and it looks like he's intending to keep those hidden as long as possible. Both players well into the 50s when it comes to the worker count, so not really committed to any sort of all-in. It's kind of what Glaved Adepts though. Oh my god, the Stalker is sitting on the pervert pillar, which is a graphical bug mostly, but looks kind of crazy. I have no idea. herO only had, well, he has 9 Adepts. Okay, he warped in more. He was hiding from the Overlord. Hit him from me as well, man. Not that hard to do, to be honest. I get surprised by Adepts all the time. But a Glaive's Rush. Dark does have some roaches on the way. Not nearly enough. I think he's expecting the blank, but herO just kind of YOLO'd out the Adept Glaives. And now, well, more roaches on the way, but it looks like Dark will almost certainly be taking some damage. Splitting off a few of the Adepts to kill drones. Not too many so far, just 2. The roaches are popping out. The big danger with Adepts for herO is being left without nearly enough back at home to deal with the counterattack, as it's almost certain there will be a counterattack with a whole bunch of roaches, and Adepts just don't handle them very well. Now, already 8, 10, 12 drones. Dark is just continually mining. Easy targets, but he will clear up the Adepts. Another wave of Adepts is shading in towards the third. Dark under 50 drones now. It's starting to get real meaningful. He's going to need a lot of counter damage here. herO's casual Adept Glaives attack. Not quite enough to, I think, force Dark out of a more macro-oriented strategy. Oracle's coming back in. God, he's racked up 32 drone kills, but he has lost 15 Adepts. That is a pretty sizable number. The key point, though, is that Dark was still over 60 or so drones when that all started, which means he's able to bounce back quickly. If you lose 20 drones at 50, that cuts a lot deeper into your economy than 30 at 60. As by that point, you almost certainly have the queens, the production, and the ability to replace them. It's not great, but it isn't critical economic damage. herO now kind of falling back to a more standard setup here, such as it is. We got blank, we got +1. Oracles looking to get some more damage done. Oh, fungal on the Oracles. Definitely weren't expecting that. Yeah, gets one of them. 5 more drones down to the Oracles. Dark just keeps rolling with the punches. He's got a Hydralisk down on the way. The hive begins. So where do we go from here? An immortal Blank Stalker time. He's even got some Adepts mixed in. Is there a Warp Prism? No, but he's not too far off the reinforcement. There's a single Infestor. Enough energy for fungal as they pop out with it nowadays. Well, here comes herO. And he's got a solid amount of army supply. That fungal is the most important thing. Able to lock down those Blink Stalkers potentially. Just kind of sacrifices the Adepts. Colossus comes wandering up. Sure, intentionally, just has that look to it. Trying to push forward. Kind of a Terran-esque push here out of herO. Just breaking off a few units to try to bait out enough of the Zerg to overcommit. But that, ooh, gets a fungal and he gets it on the Colossus, which tumbles immediately. The most important unit of the composition. Sure, it doesn't do too much, but it definitely was adding a lot. Well, that Infestor doesn't quite have the energy for another fungal. He just flunks right on top. The drones are pulled. herO? You know, he just went for it there. And, going toe-to-toe with roaches and Zerglings and even drones. Another fungal. He should be able to blink out, yeah. It's not over yet, but herO maybe overestimating the strength of Blink Stalkers in the face of much cheaper Zerg units. He does force Dark to pull drones yet again. Dark has lost 40 drones to 0 probe kills. herO is really clearly trying to keep the tempo advantage of this game, trying to keep Dark at bay so he can't start doing counterattacks. He's not easily able to tech up. But I think the sheer amount of 21 Adepts and 21 Stalkers. How many roaches? 14. He's killed less roaches. And he hasn't killed a single I was about to say a single Ravager. I take it back. He's killed 3 Ravagers. But clearly more costly there. At least army-wise for herO. And now herO, he's taking a 4th. He's working on a 5th. Dark just started his. But who's the Zerg here? Right now, it's Dark who's sitting back and trying to build the strongest army, while herO is trying to overwhelm him with a bit of a mixed bag. But now, herO is shooting up the tech tree. He's not only got multiple Robo Bay units out, but a fleet beacon behind him, alongside that 5th base. It's going to be on Dark now to get some damage done, but he's finished the hive. He's already got, I believe, seismic spines for the lurkers. And the lurkers are completed as well. So, wow. Okay, herO now getting, essentially, he's got Storm, he's got Observer Speed, another Stargate, +3 ground weapons. This is a lot of Vespene gas invested in tech that has yet to pay off, whereas Dark is about to be maxed out with fully upgraded lurkers. It's, that's what a timing is made out of there. So many... He recalls 1 stalker. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. But why? I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. Some quirk of the hitboxes there, but herO has a remarkably strong army with 88 probes as well. But Dark, there's no reason not to attack here. The vanguard of cannons will be ripped apart by the Zerglings. Over to the right flank. The lurker is going to get to work as well, though. Actually dying to the cannon. Shield battery overcharge, helpful, but not helpful enough. Does he have adrenal glands? Does it matter with that many Zerglings in the mineral line? We'll have to see. Now some probes will die. A disruptor is in the mix there. Trying to force it out. Actually, oh, he gets the eruptor at the last moment. +3 ground weapons now done for herO. But Dark, working on both sides. Another disruptor from the north. Big hit. Actually softens up all the lurkers. He should be able to clean that up now. herO has stalled out this attack somewhat. He's lost 22 probes. Dark is rebuilding with a Nidus to reinforce as well. Some interesting reinforcement tactics from both sides throughout this match. Is there anything happening at home? herO's supply looking pretty good. As always with Dark, there's one more lurker though. Just one more. +3 missile attacks about to finish, which technically applies to lurkers, even though the wording is kind of weird on that. Spore Crawler at the front is taken out. The Observer should be intact, but the lurker concave. Well, that's a lot of Protoss. +3 is done. The Disruptor's wandering up, and the Observer storms across the board, and suddenly the lurkers evaporate. Dark is being absolutely annihilated on the field. As herO brings it all together, every lurker Dark was ready to hold the line, but herO just dismantled him. Wow, beautifully done. We gotta go back. I gotta break that. I did not do that justice. All right. So here, what do we have? Half a dozen lurkers at home, and this army, the Colossus, he targets. I'm gonna go to the herO camp. He targets it down. He's kind of given up on that base to the north to focus on this fight. Blinks the Stalkers to the north. He throws out a Disruptor hit. That one ends up hitting what he can. He actually stormed in between Micro and the Ruptor. It keeps the Templar with the Prism, repositions the Prism. And by this point, he's already taken it, but he judged that fight. He completely gave up on his base. Back it on. In order to focus 100% on that fight. He saw weakness where Dark really wasn't expecting to be vulnerable. And that means a relatively decisive victory there, when it looked somewhat dicey overall for herO in that game. Rarely do we see these two have a game that just kind of ends. But this time, herO, a strong victory to lead things off even. If it game single, no, just moving on. Game 2. We're going to Site Delta. With herO taking a 1-0 victory. That was proxy hatch. Just like a... The proxy hatch felt like it was more to potentially throw herO off than a legitimate strategy. If he really wanted a proxy hatch, Dark would not have been building it at the natural. He builds it just out of vision range of the gateway, the cyber core. So that way, ideally, the first time you see it is when it's already completed and the creep is spreading towards your natural. That rarely happens. Someone like herO is clearly looking for things like that. So I'm not sure what the best case scenario was for Dark, but it felt like herO kind of dealt with it. The only reason we even got to that later stage of the game is because herO just blonked in his... Well, he blonked in his stalkers, which is a distinct difference. Blunking in is when you just stiff-arm the army out of the way, and you throw your stalkers in front because they're by far the easiest to reposition. Blonking is when you blink your stalkers in front to try to body block, and they get ripped to shreds by roaches and drones and zerglings, because stalkers kind of suck in that scenario unless they have something behind them. So that was a rough one to watch, but herO pulled it together really quickly and was able to put together the a good enough push to deal with lurkers. Dark didn't have... He went for essentially... it's kind of an all-in timing, where if you don't go Vipers, if you don't have a follow-up like Broodlords, you just go Lurkers. We actually saw this against Oliveira the other day. Oliveira? Yeah, Oliveira the other day, where Dark just got stuck on Lurkers on their own, which are great, but against a competent opponent can be dismantled, as herO showed us there. All right, Stargate, no proxy anything. Dark was allowed to take his natural. herO not bothering with any probe blocks in this series so far. Void Ray is on the way. The least common choice, I'd say, out of the Stargate. Not completely unheard of, but just something... well, you can take out the Overlord, and it is kind of a basic defense against any all-ins. But the reason you don't see it over the Oracle most of the time is very simply it doesn't have the utility. It's more costly, costs more supply, and it's much less likely to be able to get the scouting information that Oracles can. On top of taking longer to kill things like drones, so... Dark backing off with the Ovies there. You know what I'd love to see? Oh, there's the Twilight. But I was gonna say just a carrier rush. Just go for it. It's so obvious. But sometimes that makes it good. Also, I want to know how to deal with it, because I've lost a surprising amount of meta points to carrier rushes lately. Makes me feel like a Bronze League hero a little bit. But it's one of those things that doesn't feel like it should be as good as it can be. So you underestimate it, and then suddenly you're down to 2 queens and 16 spore crawlers when the Charizard's running. But this time around, he's going Glaives again. Okay. I'm not convinced it was a success in the last game. But neither am I convinced it was a failure. I'm just taking a long time to say I don't really know if it did well or not. Okay, I don't have a strong opinion. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'm pretty neutral in general. So this time around, it's going to be +1 melee, as well as a Baneling Nest for Dark, as opposed to a Roach one. And honestly, it's another... It could be better, it could be worse. It really comes down to if the Banelings, 1, are even built by the time the Adepts come across the map, and 2, connect with them. As Banelings are surprisingly inefficient against Adepts if they're able to prepare. The Zerglings themselves usually are better off. Dark is... He's at 58 rounds. He's building a lot of links. So this is going to match up really well with the timing of the Adepts coming across the map. course, you don't want to lose any of those lings, and he's just now building banelings. hero's already here. The adepts have already arrived. And right on top of the queens, no shame. No personal space. They just shade right on top. They're always throwing shade. Well, the adepts canceled at the last second. Even Dark bit on it. He moved all the banelings in towards the main, and now the third base. He's trying to chase him down. What year is it? Is that Neeb? 2 glaive attacks in a row, and he bit again! He got that cancel at the last second. He's gonna recall out. It could have been better, but gets 4 or 5 adepts out. Better than nothing. There's a few more in the middle of the map. We gotta be a little careful about those. hero's taking a 4th base behind it. This is... Well, adept glaives are still very strong, but... I don't know. Adepts do not scale well into the late game. That's the reason why you don't usually see the later adept all-ins. It's very simply, they just... they don't trade well at all in these sort of fights here. When there's enough banelings and enough enough banelings and enough zerglings to potentially get us around and close the distance. They just don't have enough range. And banelings are not light units, so they don't have as much HP as they used to. So maybe adepts are a little bit better against them. I'm not actually sure the breakpoint. They made 2-shot adepts, just like 2-shot banelings, just like zerglings now. Even when they have that speed upgrade. That's interesting. I haven't seen anyone really trying mass adept until, like, today. You'll get the occasional adept glaives all in, but never, like, an adept glaives macro build. This is certainly new. Alright, the Zerglings. He's got all sorts of teleportation here. Different flavors of it. We got Blink, we got Adept Shade. The Adepts will shade away. The Oracles and the Void Rays, the Adepts just fear confrontation. The Blink Stalkers move in to body block out for the Lings and Banes. And while the few Banes get a connection, herO just holds the line, and now he's got a 30 supply lead against Dark, who he doesn't have any Infestors. He's just now finishing +2/+1, but Dark is struggling and failing to get any sort of damage done. herO is starting to turn things around. Well, and by turn things around, I guess mean further in his advantage. The Stargate units, Oracle and Void Rays covering. Banelings take out the Adepts, but not nearly enough of them to prevent the rest from doing quite well. A recall. herO just shading and blinking and recalling around the map right now, and Dark is scrambling to intercept. This entire game has been Dark chasing after herO. Well, Adrenal Gland's on the way. 10 more drums. 40 supply lead for herO. How many gates? Just 8 gates. He's just been very consistent about building off them. Ultraless Cavern. Really? Okay. Ultraless Cavern is the comeback unit. And you know, against Mass Adept Stalker, Stalkers aren't horrible against Ultras, but with that many Zerglings mixed in and no splash damage, that's the crazy part, is no splash damage. We got Templar Archives on the way. He's gonna need a few Infestors. Without a few Infestors, it's still gonna be almost impossible to pin down the Gateway Army. The Zerglings are good, but Dark... here's at 93 probes. 94 probes. It's actually a bit of a problem right now. That's too many probes. He's not maxed out, so it's not a real issue. But if we get to the point of 200, you do not want your army to only be 106 potential supply. He's building 4 more. All right, he hasn't had enough yet. Stasis will prevent the Zerglings from getting out. Another stasis. Stop right there, criminal scum. Ultra's on the way. Hero's at 98 pros. That's altogether too many. The only saving grace, and Dark can't know this, but the best chance Dark has is herO not realizing how many probes he has. Is herO killing... I thought he was killing his own adepts there in order to get a Warp Prism. Don't think that's insane. It was just a Zergling. Wow. Okay. Now what? Chitinous plating about to complete. These are actually going to be some ridiculously upgraded Zerglings. And Ultras. +3, +2. There's so many Zerg. 130 Zerglings on the map. Dark is maxed out. And Ultra, hello? Hello? Ultra just comes wandering in. And the Zealot charges forward, but... Oh, he was able to warp one in. Dark wasn't looking. That was the opportunity to get into the main, but herO blocks the door just in time. Something I don't say... Wait. He burrowed the Lings. Another Ultra is gruesomely slaughtered. More Zerglings at the third, starting to chew through the defense. The Cracklings absolutely rip these buildings apart. And more Zerglings in the natural. He burrowed the Lings behind. There are oracles. A mothership is on the way. But Dark comes in again. The supply is still telling quite a story here. But herO keeps having to come back. There goes an Archon. There's still... Yeah, Observer comes out. herO has to deal with these Lings burrowed all over the place like it's the campaign. A mothership is on the way. Four more Archons. Yeah, on paper, hero's army is. Even with these amazing upgrades for the Ultraling Bane. I can't believe I'm saying Ultraling Bane. It's a real compliment. It's exciting. But, well, if this goes on too much longer, hero's just building 8 cannons. He's decided these static defenses to buy time. They're not a solution in and of themselves, these cannons. But they don't cost supply. So... that is something that's probably the most valuable commodity for herO. He needs as large of an army brought to bear as possible so he can take out these Ultras. But the Ultras, this fight just kind of... Dark just goes straight for it. He's likely going to lose at least one more Ultra there. Yeah, well, the Blink Stalkers. Oh, he tries to turn it around. A couple Queens here. But that is way too much Protoss. He uses the active cloaking field on the mothership. The Ultras are chewing through the cannons, but how does Dark deal with this counterattack? 4 Ultras on the way, but there are plenty of Immortals with the army. There's not that much anti-air as well. Yeah, the Immortals are more than enough. Dark somehow has a supply. Well, it's because 5 Ultras are popping out here. herO, Warp Prism is still intact. Dark is plummeting in supply, and there's nothing that can touch this. The Immortals, the Archons, the mothership in tow here, and herO just check and mate. Yet again, the Glaive Adepts lead things off and allow herO to cut his way through. What an odd game. It's been an odd series. Every week, every time. It feels like we're rewriting the book. I think Dark has that effect more than anyone else. herO as well, but Dark very much so. Dark just like, okay, I'm gonna go Zergling Ultra. herO with the Glaive Adepts. It's been a while, I think, since Dark has had to deal with such committed Adept play. It's just not something you do anymore. It's not done. At least not often. Not at this level. But... we'll see. Does he go 3 for 3 with it? Are we going to mix it up here in Game 3? Match point for herO. And pretty decisively as well. This isn't the back and forth kind of a messy chaos that we usually see. Yes, there's been some confusion. There's been some kind of figuring out of who's actually winning the game. And I think both players are have had struggles engaging that. But it has ended decisively. Not with some weird base trade, not with some technical knockout, but herO has decisively won 2 games in a row. Which is partially just me hyping up the drama of a potential counter sweep. Or reverse sweep. I don't know. Counter sweep sounded dramatic, but that's not how we call that. But a reverse sweep, potentially, for Dark, which has happened multiple times. But this doesn't feel like Dark is kind of doing weird stuff. It feels like herO's catching him off guard. And Dark is struggling to even claw back towards even. I do not... I hope we're not going back to the age of the Adept Glaive, though. I will say that Adepts with Glaives and just throwing shade all over the place, playing... I debated a few different ways of saying playing tag. Some would require a different rating if it were to be a movie than others. But we'll go with playing tag with the Adepts. Of like, tag, you're it, the Adept shade away. Just kidding. But it is a bit of an awkward exchange as well, since you can cancel the shade at any point. Of course, it goes on cooldown the moment you use it. But this leaves it at the awkward scenario of if the Protoss completes a shade, and then you just lose all the Adepts. Well, then you're probably about to lose the game. But if the shade is canceled at that last split second, like happened multiple times last game, the Zerg is left with their drones in their hand, wondering where to go with them. It's going to be a Stargate to start things off yet again. Oracle on the way. herO looking for high ground vision. We'll finish off that Overlord. Thought he might move a little too fast. He did block the expansion, by the way, which is going to make it a little easier to do damage with the Oracle and potentially Adepts. That is part of the intent of blocking the Zerg naturally. Just making it that much harder to move the Queens around, to move Zerglings around, leaving more points of vulnerability for the drones. Another Oracle heads across, joins up. Ready to get hit, bro? Please stop. Please stop, Charles. That's enough. What would your mother think? Oracles light up. 2 drones. Spore Crow. Oh my god. 1. Uno. Ina HP. And that's exactly 1 more than you need to keep that Oracle alive. Frustrating, but... Oh, he's faking it. It's a fake. He's sending out enough Adepts to look like it's a Glaives all-in yet again. He's trying to provoke a panic out of Dark here, who's already building a Roach Warren, plenty of Lings. I mean, this is just a solid timing as well. But with 2 games already played here, Dark has to take this incredibly seriously. He may suspect it's not as committed, but you need the Zerglings. He's actually up to 54 drones. herO's at 57 probes and counting, though, so he's definitely not slouching here. Layer's about to complete. Likely seeing Roach speed immediately. And, of course, plenty of Roaches on the field. It's going to be Blink, though, and +1, which, against the more high economy Zerg, he's not getting Roach speed. Dark! He gets it. All right. But blinking +1 with enough gateway production. Yeah, 2 gates is not enough, but with enough gateway production. Oh, and he's giving it away now. Dark realizes this is not mass adept. So he goes Spire. Ooh. He's headed towards Mutas. Though, it seems like quite a reach. It is still going to be blank. Muta's obviously better against adepts even than blink stalkers, but the idea here is Dark can ward away any sort of gateway timing. And, oh no, but the Spire is spotted! Okay, now what? Now we have the awkward... Well, I know that you know that I'm going Spire. But since I know that you know that I know you're going Spire, am I actually going Spire? The threat of mutas can sometimes be more effective than the mutas themselves. The best defense, of course, is a good offense. Dark is still banking money like he wants to go mutas, but then he sees the blink stalkers and builds 5 Ravagers. He's given up on the mutas entirely. He may finish the Spire, but he needs to deal with this attack directly. And right now, oh, herO has successfully forced these Ravagers out. And I think with that info, he's happy with what he's done. All right, he just walks right back home. Beautifully done. Just completely well, Dark had to build those units. Because if he doesn't have the Ravagers, if he doesn't have a critical mass on the ground, he's never going to get anything done with the mutas. If he's busy just fighting the ground army. But herO right now is still a step ahead on the tech tree. Observer taken out by the Ravager Corrosive Bile. Hydra Den is completed. So essentially Dark has everything right now. Lurker Den will be built right underneath the Oracle. Let the Oracle watch. herO comes back around. Another clutch of Blink Stalkers. He's got a whole lot of them here. Or Prism forward, Corrosive Bile trying to zone things out. Oracles, one of them gets taken out. Here's a Colossus. Not gonna add that much against the Roaches, but certainly doesn't hurt to have. Also helps prevent any Zerglings from overrunning and delaying the Stalkers from doing damage to the Roaches. A single Colossus really does help with thinning the wheat from the chaff there. The Zerglings from the Roaches. +2 ground weapons about to complete. Maybe one more warping. And herO. He's got the upgrades here. Dark doesn't really have anything that deals with this directly. He's building Vipers now. He's going to be relying on the sheer strength of numbers. But his army supply is dead even. Trying to deal with the Colossus. A second Colossus added in. And Dark, where is the army? He blunks forward. Looking for the Colossus there. May get one. But at what cost? Might lose the 4th base, and more than that if this keeps up. The Vipers are done. Just 1 G. Just a singular G. From Dark. As herO claims it 3-0. Wow. A decisive victory for the Smiling Assassin. Not what I expected to see, but each game seemed to get even more decisive, where herO clearly well, that brings us to our bonus game, our anti-spoiler bonus game. I'll be honest, I didn't exactly expect that outcome, so we have a bonus game with Dark versus Oliveira. Not that that necessarily doesn't fit, but a relatively quick match. We had him in here just so that way you guys didn't get the wrong idea about who wins the match. But no, Dark gets crushed by herO. A decisive game 3 finishes him off, and herO will be your unchallenged champion of this week of the Korean StarCraft 2 League. Now I have something spicy from the same tournament. Dark versus Oliveira. Might be a bit of a spoiler in and of itself, but there are multiple games in this series. I don't know if Dark is the victor in every one. Oliveira on the top right. Everyone on this. By the way, what a power team. Dark, herO, and Oliveira on the same team. Probably, right now, the best team outside of Basilisk, who has herO. So, and I believe Raynor at this point. But, I mean, I could have probably just stopped at herO. I'm not sure what Dark has in store for us. But Oliveira, kind of defaulting. This is... And Dark and Oliveira are starting to face in almost as often as herO and Dark. But I think Oliveira still has some struggle with consistency. Some days he looks like potentially the world champion that he is. The best Terran in the world. But sometimes everything just starts to crumble. And it falls apart rather easily. Of course, I'm sure many people can relate to that. If that doesn't describe the StarCraft 2 experience, I don't know what does. Scout checks the hatch timing. Oliveira out with the Reaper. 6 Zerglings to start. For Dark, always looking for opportunities to slip them by. That's another key point of our Dark versus herO match. There are multiple chances. Well, usually the defining characteristic of herO's gameplay is letting the Zerglings in his base at key timings. It almost happened in that previous series, but at the end of the day, he didn't quite get there. And if herO's allowed to go about his plans, then it seems like he's at the distinct advantage. Yeah, Dark taking so much drone damage in those games. That is kind of the Zerg experience, which is getting poked and prodded by oracles, adepts, what have you. That's the majority of it for the early game, but usually bouncing back, bringing it together, and creating such an army, you just overrun them. Gonna be Cyclones for Oliveira. Reaper just poking and prodding, keeping a close eye, maybe pick off a creep tumor if Dark isn't paying close attention, but of course. Third command center, no starport. Just a straight up Cyclone build. A Roach Warren's on the way for Dark. But he is going up towards 40 drafts. So he's going to have a perfectly solid economy. He's building 2 more gas gassers, though, and that's not something you do with under 40 drones. Unless maybe you have more dramatic intent. Still a lot of options open. The Cyclones looking to poke and prod at the Queens. Dark has banked up 10 larvae, and he hasn't built drones in a bit. There's 7 roaches on the way. 8. Oh my god, he uses a scan. Ugh. I mean, he's gonna get it, but I don't love it. I don't know. Using a scan to kill the Overlord on the perfect pill. I guess when he doesn't have a starport, even begun. No, what? This is a Diamond League Terran build, aka like GSL level. It's just not. Apparently, we're not building the starport anymore. Only Kier built the starport. Now we're just doing Marines and whatever you can put in front of them. In this case, Cyclones and Hellions. Dark has snuck out the roaches. He's using the Queens to defend. Oh, well. I think Oliveira's a little suspicious, but Dark has hidden this perfectly. Oh my god, is he just gonna win? Well, this is not exactly what I was looking for. Hey, alright, you weren't spoiled on Dark versus herO because of this amazing bonus game where we see that the world champion No, he's super dead. Like, Dark just walks up. He took a bit of a detour, avoided the vision, but the Cyclones are already surrounded by they're super dead. Wow. Well, he just rips his throat out. And that's what set us up for Dark to get dunked on in the following finals there. So, there's always a bigger hero at the end of the day. That was a bit of a convoluted series and cast today, but I hope it made your day at least a little bit better. I'm going to be mulling over that build. I do look forward to more. Is it a flash in the pan? Are we back with the Glaive Adepts? What do you think? Either way, thank you for watching. If you've got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon. But also, I'm streaming StarCraft 2 on YouTube and other games on the second channel, Winter Gaming. So I'm actually promoting that now because Twitch allows me to stream on both platforms. You can check out some of the VODs and gameplay there. If you haven't yet, that'd be awesome. Go subscribe over there. There's going to be, well, there already is plenty of content. But thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.